Michael Jackson. Probably. I could be wrong. What do you guys think? Does he deserve to be higher than 86? What's up, YouTube? SalvoG here, and welcome back to another reaction video, except today we are not, well, I shouldn't say today, because there are reactions today that have music in them. But right now, we are going to be reacting to an article. I thought this would be something fun to do together. You guys can gather and form your opinions, because that is what I'm mostly interested in. We're going to go through this list together. It's the 200 greatest singers of all time. I thought this would be fun. So a lot of these people I haven't heard yet, so that is important. So if I come across an artist that I have heard, I will stop and say, hey, I have heard them. That way you guys can kind of see where I'm coming from as far as viewing this list. Really, I want to see what you guys think, because you guys have a lot more experience with this music than I do. As you know, I am on a journey. So I want to see what you guys have to say about this. How did they come up with this though? This was 2 days ago, by the way. The 200 greatest singers of all time. Well, it says here, in 2008, they used an elaborate voting process, whatever that means, that included input from well-known musicians. That doesn't sound very elaborate, but sure. The results skewed towards classic rock and singers from the 60s and 70s. This new list was compiled of our staff, so that's a typo right there already, of our staff and key contributors. Who is that? And it encompasses 100 years of pop music as an ongoing global conversation, where iconic Indian playback singer Lata, I'm not going to butcher that, lands between Amy Winehouse and Johnny Cash, and salsa queen Celine Cruz is up there in the rankings with Prince and Marvin Gaye. You might notice that, say, there isn't any opera on our list. That's because our purview is pop music writ large, meaning that almost all of the artists on this list had significant careers as crossover stars, making popular music for the masses. So, okay, so you had to have basically made radio music, essentially, is what they're saying here. Popular music for the masses. Sounds like radio. So no opera. That's already kind of a problem, because 200 greatest singers of all time slash, pop icons or something like that. Because, Celine Dion isn't going to be on the list then, I'm assuming. There's a lot of good opera singers, and there's a few that my parents really love that probably won't make the list, but oh well. Celine Dion isn't just opera, I shouldn't say that, but I'll be surprised if I see her on here now. Which is a shame, because she's amazing. Alright. Before you start scrolling and commenting, I am already doing that. Keep in mind that this is the greatest singers list, not the greatest voices list. What are they doing? Talent is impressive. Genius is transcendent. Sure, many of the people here were born with massive pipes, perfect pitch, and boundless range. Others have rougher, stranger, or more delicate instruments. As our write-up for the man who ended up at number 112 notes, Ozzy Osbourne doesn't have what most people would call a good voice, but boy, does he have a great one. That could apply to more than a few people here. Okay. Let's just go ahead and go through this. So, keep in mind, this is the greatest singers list, not the greatest voices list. So what were they able to do with their voice? Were they able to create an amazing song? Maybe not demonstrating the most impressive voice, but they created a number one hit after number one hit after number one hit after number one hit. Okay, well, I understand what they're doing here now. So, that gives us a little bit of a clearer path as we're going through this. Keep in mind, not the greatest voices, the greatest singers. So what were they able to do with their voice? Not only how amazing was it? Okay, so I'm just gonna scroll. If I see one that I recognize, I will stop. If you guys see one that you think on here that doesn't deserve or think should be higher or lower, that's where I want you guys to come in and let me know what you think. So Billie Eilish, I have heard Billie Eilish. Not my type of music, but she has made a pretty serious impact in pop, I will say that. Burna Boy, haven't heard. So I mean, this is 200, so I'm gonna go kind of quick. Obviously, I've heard of Kelly Clarkson. I watched, what is this show? American Idol, growing up, and I think she was maybe the first or second winner, something like that, maybe in the third. Pretty good voice, for sure. Brandy, that was another really popular artist when I was growing up. Heard her on the radio a lot. Frank Ocean I have heard of, but I haven't heard his music. Yeah, so a lot of these artists are going to be people that I have probably heard as I was, in my teens. Probably, yeah, Alicia Keys. I've heard a few of her songs. Karen O I've actually heard because I did like the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. I was in like 7th or 8th grade, maybe 6th. They had a really popular song that I really enjoyed. I had it on repeat for a while. Bob Seger, 181. What do we think about that, everybody? Oh man, that's pretty low, I feel like. By low, I mean, probably should be higher. Old time rock and roll. Specialized in tales of hard luck, losers and dreamers, with a grown-up hurt in his growl. Yeah, I really like his music. We will get to more soon. Yeah. I heard one Iggy Pop song that's on my channel somewhere. You'd have to search for it. I've only heard one song. It was okay. I would listen to more. Lana Del Rey, I think she's really popular right now, but I just haven't heard it. I haven't heard any of her, I don't think. Buddy Holly sounds familiar. Chris Stapleton also sounds familiar. Mark Anthony, I'd probably recognize it if you put the song on. I do recognize his name. I do recognize this name as well, but I haven't heard anything. Mississippi John Hurt. Blues, Delta Blues. Warm. Not raw. With grace, generosity, and warmth. Not raw power. That sounds really nice. I want to listen to that. Carrie Underwood, I have heard. Not my thing. Robert Smith. No. Nope. Martha Reeves, I've heard. Okay. Keep going. So these, a lot of these names I've recognized, I just haven't heard. So that's, I will let you know. Christina Aguilera was insanely popular in middle school. The voice of Y2K Teen Idol. Crap. Whatever that means. Soul powerhouse as a TRL staple. Yeah, she was on, there was a show on MTV called TRL. Just constantly on there. She was in the top 10 every week, it felt like. Soul powerhouse. I guess I just didn't really know what kind of music she made at the time as I was listening to it. I just knew she was really popular, and it wasn't really my taste. Bono I have heard of, haven't heard. Lauryn Hill is very popular, I know that. I just haven't taken the time to check her out yet. IU. One of the highest regarded vocalists in South Korean music. Awesome. I'd like to get more involved in other parts of the world when it comes to reactions. I have a few artists on the channel in regards to that. Axl Rose, we have heard on this channel. Just once, I think, though. Once or twice. Neil Young, I have heard of. I haven't heard his music. Jeff Buckley has an amazing voice. I have one reaction to him on my channel. I really enjoyed it. Jeff Buckley is amazing. Wow, rare vocalist of his era. The 90s. Robert Plant was one of his heroes. Yeah, Jeff Buckley had an amazing voice from what I heard in that one song. I mean, we have heard some Courtney Love. We have a few whole reactions on the channel. '30s Delta Blues. So that's the second time I've seen Delta Blues pop up on this. What exactly is Delta when it comes to the blues genre here? You know, I really love blues, guys. Like, I would love to take a really deep dive into blues music. That would be really fun. Karen Carpenter. Jackie Wilson, I have heard of. Erykah Badu, I have heard of. Ozzy Osbourne, we have heard on the channel. Yeah, I wouldn't say Ozzy Osbourne has the best voice, but he makes really good use of it and makes some really awesome songs. And that's probably kind of what they were talking about when they were saying, you know, greatest singers, not greatest voices. This is probably a good example, I feel like. Really amazing songs I've heard from Ozzy so far. His bombastic shout is reminiscent of drill bits and electric guitar feedback. His phrasing is not nimble, but the way he sounds like no one else is a superpower. That's awesome. The Weeknd. This guy is really popular right now. And I mean extremely popular. I think he has one of the most streamed songs of all time. I can't remember what it's called because I don't listen to The Weeknd. Maybe Blinding Lights or something like that. But yeah, he is wildly popular. I know that. Hey, Eddie. We have heard Eddie. We have a few, actually, now Pearl Jam reactions on the channel. Really amazing stuff. SoCal surfer dude who drifted to Seattle, where he blew up into one of the most iconic, influential rock voices of the past 40 years. With Pearl Jam, Vedder flexes his brawny baritone in pain ballads like Daughter, Nothing Man, and Elderly Woman behind the counter in a small town. But he can also wail in the flat-out fury of Black or Not For You. Country, huh? Can hear him in the singer's side. Okay. Wow. Taylor Swift. Yeah, I have heard of Taylor Swift, and I have heard some of her music. And admittedly, it can be pretty good. I will say that. She has a knack for lyrics, I believe, and she makes some really fun songs. Not something I would turn on intentionally, but if I hear Taylor Swift, I will probably start dancing or singing along at the very least. Gladys Knight, I have heard of. Elton John, I have heard of. I'm pretty sure I've heard him. I just couldn't name one of his songs. He does have a wicked voice. That is for sure. Bob Marley, I have heard. I'm almost positive, just like Elton John, I have heard him. Couldn't pinpoint a song. However, Usher. Interesting to see Usher on here. Usher was really, really popular. Yeah, when I was younger. Very popular. He has made some pretty good R&B, heartthrob songs. Yep. Chuck Berry. We have heard once on the channel. Stevie Nicks coming in at 93. What do we think about this? There are so many layers to the Stevie Nicks mythology at this point that it can be easy to gloss over the precious stone at the center of it all. Her gorgeous, smoky quartz of a voice, which has always lent her crystal visions an unnerving power. Her disciples are legion, from Harry Styles to Florence Welch, but in particular any female singer who has flaunted a raspy vocal style. Lorde, Sheryl Crow, Courtney Love owes her a massive debt. I think she has probably the sexiest voice of anyone that I can think of, Love once said. It's a voice that can make a Fleetwood Mac classic like Gold Dust Woman or Sarah feel more like a spell than a song. Ooh, a spell. That's a good word. In the case of immortal breakup anthems, Dreams, Silver Springs, and Wild Heart, like in Irresistible Hex. That's a good way to put it, for sure, because those are irresistible. Anika Baker, I've heard of. Selena, I have heard of. I think I've heard some of her music. Jimmy Rogers sounds really familiar. Diana Ross, of course, sounds really familiar. Michael Jackson. Number 86. Okay, so here I think we have a massive problem. Okay, they're saying, remember, this is the greatest singers, not the greatest voice. I think Michael Jackson combined offers a much higher score than 86 when you talk about influence as far as what he has done singing on music and also his voice, how good it is. So, I mean, even I know Michael Jackson probably, I could be wrong. What do you guys think? Does he deserve to be higher than 86? I mean, wow. The king of pop, right? I mean, what do they say here? His best vocal moments thrived in their ability to transcend styles and transform expectations. The way the Jackson vibes I Want You Back turns James Brown into bubblegum. The exuberance mixed with bite of Wanna Be Startin' Something. The way human nature dreams of connection while shivering in isolation. What we now know about his life makes his music harder to enjoy, and it's been argued that as his world darkened, his voice developed into a parodic arsenal of tics. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the grammar on this article is not the best. There's not enough separation. But even toward the end, given the right musical settings, such as the light touch high points on 2001's Invincible, his ability to sink into a song while also seeming to float above it remained peerless. I think they are downplaying Michael Jackson's career. I mean, his personal life, whatever, separate from... I cannot judge the music. That's not what we're doing here, I don't think. We're looking at their careers, are we not? And it looks like they're taking his personal life into account here with this number, from what I read. But so be it. We will move on. But I mean, Thriller. Hello? Okay. Anyways, Johnny Cash. I have heard Johnny Cash. Really enjoying Johnny Cash. We need to get to some more. Amy Winehouse, 83, is above Michael Jackson, everybody. So yeah, basically now I'm in a Steve Perry. Ooh, wow, okay, 82. So everybody below Michael Jackson now, I'm just gonna be like, yes or no. He's like 86. I don't know, man. Anyways, that's a tough one. All right, let's keep going. Janis Joplin, I have to listen to. I've been meaning to listen to Janis Joplin. We'll get to her soon, I promise. Same with Bruce Springsteen. I do want to listen to him as well. D'Angelo, that sounds so familiar. Patti LaBelle, also familiar. Haven't heard. Haven't heard. Sounds familiar. Rihanna. Rihanna has sold a lot of music, I will say that. A lot of number ones, huge catalog of music, almost every song, you know, pretty massive, actually. So, as far as, you know, best singers, she probably deserves to be on this list. I just don't really know where, if I'm being honest. She hasn't really made that much music, though, I feel like, in the last few years. Bjork? Bjork? I can't even attempt to read that last name. Icelandic? I can last. Like, what are these words? She's known from accelerating from a heavily accented tone that closely resembles a speaking voice to a cathartic upper range that feels like screams of passion and insight. That sounds interesting. Has anybody heard Bjork? Robert Plant. One of the GOATs. Number 63. What do you guys think about this? Too high? Too low? Blues lyrics. As much flack as Robert Plant rightly gets for his liberal borrowings from blues lyrics, his actual vocal style, informed early on by sources such as Skip James and Blind Lemon Jefferson, quickly evolved into something unique. Take Immigrant Song, with its screechy, wailing, and weirdly languid croon, or the dreamy warble he adopts in Kashmir. As over the top as his Led Zeppelin work could get, some of Plant's greatest performances came when he aimed for serenity rather than savagery. See Going to California. Love that song. The Rain Song and 10 Years Gone. It's almost as if he always knew he'd reinvent himself as a mystical folkie, and one reason why his later collaborations with Alison Krauss and musicians from Mali and Morocco are some of the most incredible late career vocal work by an ex-arena rocker. How do you feel about that? Arena rocker. Interesting little tidbit. Kate Bush. Howlin' Wolf. Lady Gaga. Number 858. Lady Gaga, like Rihanna, has made some massive hits. Paparazzi is the first song that comes to mind. You guys have probably heard it. I'm the biggest fan, I follow you, paparazzi. Yeah, all that jazz. A lot of big singles. Again, higher than Michael Jackson. Okay, let's keep going. Barry White, I have heard of. Tina Turner, I have heard of. A lot of these people I've heard of, I just haven't got to them yet. We'll see. Willie Nelson, I have heard of. Mick Jagger. Next page. All right, top 50. Joni Mitchell. Rod Stewart. Tony Braxton. I've heard all these people. I haven't heard of Mavis or Ella Fitzgerald. James Brown, I have heard of. Ariana Grande. So Ariana Grande is above Rihanna, Lady Gaga, Michael Jackson, and Robert Plant, amongst a lot of other people on this list. When it comes to singing voice and greatest voices is going to be pretty low for me. Singing voice, as far as influence, this is a problem. I'm sorry. Ariana is such an apt and knowledgeable vocalist. Now she also recognizes the power of restraint, really, wielding her gift in both show-stopping, think God is a woman in simple ways. Think Seven Rings across her already expansive catalog. Okay, I'm sorry. Ariana Grande is a great artist. 43. That is just disrespectful to a whole lot of people on this list. Call it what you want. Moving on. I don't know if I could finish this list now. Aaliyah, really popular when I was growing up. Great artist. Oh boy. Well, Kurt Cobain. We have heard Kurt Cobain once on this channel. David Bowie, I've heard one time. He's on the channel as well. Hank Williams. I have not heard Hank Williams. Dolly Parton. I have not heard. Paul McCartney. 26. Amazing voice. I really like Paul McCartney. Mary J. Blige has a great voice. Smokey Robinson. I have not heard. I know he's really popular. You should probably check him out. Adele at number 22. I mean, she does have a great voice. Let's just be honest. Where she belongs on the list, not quite sure. Definitely above Ariana Grande, I'll tell you that much. That just really upset me, actually. I don't know why it's making me so mad. I'm not mad. I'm just kind of confused. I'll say that. I'm not mad. I take that back. I'm just confused. Marvin Gaye, haven't really heard. I haven't heard him. I know who he is. Frank Sinatra. I've heard Frank Sinatra. I know that. Just couldn't name a song. Elvis. Hell yeah. 17. Really enjoying the Elvis on the channel. Elvis is insane. So fun to watch. Prince, I've heard. Little Red Corvette. That's a crazy song. I should probably listen to some more Prince. He's really fun as well. Bob Dylan. We should probably add Bob Dylan to the channel. Freddie Mercury. Yes. Talking about voice. I don't know. I think he should actually be higher, in my opinion. Getting down to the nitty gritty here. It's a longer video, you guys. I hope you are enjoying this. John Lennon. Yeah. I tried reacting to some Beatles on the channel. No, all the audio got blocked. It wasn't even a video. So I've said this before in a previous video. I have 2 Beatles reactions on my Patreon. I will be listening to the Beatles on my Patreon, and as well as probably more artists, just to add more value to the Patreon side of my channel. So I'm going to be doing album reviews on Patreon for the Beatles because YouTube won't allow it, apparently. And then I'll be kind of doing that over on Patreon, where I'll just listen to a whole album as opposed to just single reactions. So yeah, if you're looking for extra content, that's where that will be. Little Richard. I know Little Richard. I just don't know if I heard his songs. I remember my mom talking about Little Richard growing up. Al Green, Otis Redding, Beyonce, number 8, everybody. Stevie Wonder, number 7. Ray Charles, number 6. Mariah Carey, number 5. Billie Holiday, 4. Sam Cooke, 3. Whitney Houston, 2. Aretha Franklin, 1. I heard Aretha Franklin the other day, and damn. Crazy voice. I mean, it was emotional, I'll say that. So Aretha Franklin gets my respect. Just haven't heard enough of her to really make a larger opinion, but I know she's great from what I've heard so far. Whitney Houston I've heard plenty of. Great voice, amazing. Sam Cooke, can't recall. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. So Ariana Grande and Michael Jackson are stuck in my brain. Just, I don't know. I mean, there was a lot I recognized, a lot that I didn't. You know, you had your Robert Plants, your Freddie Mercury's, your Eddie, stuff like that, Steve Perry. But man, MJ was all the way at 86. And I don't know if I can ever forgive the Rolling Stones. Anyways, this is a long enough video as it is. Let me know what you guys think down below. Am I crazy? I don't know. This list was a little... Amy Winehouse was a few spots higher than Michael Jackson. It is what it is. Let me know what you think down below. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.